everybody. We are back with another Sales and Marketing Secrets podcast. I have Bobby Gall, Scott Tartaglia here with me, and we're going to discuss a very important topic today, talking about the biggest challenges that real estate professionals and mortgage professionals are facing when it comes to sales, marketing, and lead conversion. And we have some crazy stats for you, so you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for this podcast. Okay, so let's dive into it. I came across some crazy stats.
Yeah, I read them.
And like we're experiencing this and feeling this right now, like in the industry, but it's when you actually see the statistics, it's staggering. Where if you are not making the transition away from the old way of doing business to the new way of tapping into digital marketing, omni-channel marketing, video, you're crazy. I'm just going to flat out say it. Like if you're not doing whatever you have to do to make this transition, you will be left behind. First stat, here's why. 90% of people won't answer the phone anymore when they see a call coming in.
So true.
Yep.
I mean,
90%.
And your people are on the phone every day.
Yes.
Right. So you've had to fight this battle, right? So
I was going to say 20 years ago, guys, you could just sit there and make dials all day and rip dials and hit your goals, right? That's not the case anymore. You know, those stats back that up. You know, we have a team here, the pickup rate, you know, compared to even 3 to 5 years ago, you know, is less than half, right? So you want to make sure, right, that you're finding different ways outside of just cold calling or dialing to actually make contact with people.
Yeah, and it changes the dynamic, right? Because I remember, you know, when you and I and Bobby started calling, I mean, you could make 100 calls. You pretty much knew you were going to get a hold of 20 to 30 people.
Yep.
And you knew you're going to set 4 or 5 appointments.
Correct.
Like it's just, and then once you got really good, you could probably talk to half the amount of people and still get 4 or 5 appointments.
Yep.
And because you got better on the phone, but those ratios don't exist anymore. It's just very, very different, and largely because people don't answer the phone. You also have very strong filters like with spam numbers, right? So you used to be able to take a number, what we call a phantom number, make a outbound call as if it was in your local market. Didn't have to be your number necessarily, but now they come up with spam if they're not registered the right way.
And I was just going to say, guys, literally the phone companies are building out the cell phones now to actually identify these numbers. So it's only going to get worse over time. You know, if you're dialing, guys, it's like you're going to Blockbuster still to watch movies, right? And rent a movie. And
so the next stat, which I think we all kind of are experiencing, because a lot of people think this is a millennial thing, but it's not a millennial thing. Statistically, people across all generations would prefer to text 3 to 8 times more, are more likely to want to text than to actually want to talk by phone.
So true.
So
100%.
we all like the chatter is like, oh, it's millennials. It's not. It's like
it's everybody.
We're all in the habit now.
Yep.
And even just think about how often you used to pick up the phone and talk to your parents or your grandmother. I'm video chatting with my aunt and uncles now.
Yes.
Like yes. I'm not picking up the phone calling them, right? Even like my grandmother, like I'm actually texting my grandmother, right? And so don't think consumer behavior is not, don't think it's any different, because it's not. And so what's the message is you have to have technology in place that allows you to communicate through as many channels possible, which we're going to get in a little bit more, but I'm going to keep reading this. More than 40% of people between the ages of 30 and 50 are almost quote unquote constantly online, meaning they're spending at least a couple hours a day online. Okay.
It's right here now.
Yeah.
There's our computer.
Only 3% of people trust marketers and salespeople.
So I think you say that again. 3%. 3% of people.
I still don't trust Scott.
Yeah. I don't think my mother does. No. But yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Like, so if you're in the real estate profession specifically, there's a chart I saw out of the top 15 least trusted industries. It's like in the top 10. Like, I don't remember the exact number, but in the top
realtors
10
are like car salesmen now, right? So that's how everybody looks at them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they think they're all equal, right? A agent is an agent, right? That's kind of the perception I feel like we battle on a daily basis is
Well,
agent just an agent.
I have to agree. I mean, we always joke about it, but we say board dues should be $10,000 a year, right? Because you have those, and my own mother was a stay-at-home mother, so nothing against her, but like you have those stay-at-home mothers, you have those people who are doing part-time, and they're the majority, and they ruin the industry.
Yeah, and I think the problem is it's not even them as much as our industry. Our industry does such a poor job preparing people to be ready for real estate. Such a poor job, in my opinion. Like people get their license, they have no expectations on what they're supposed to do. They go join, and if they don't have, if they're not lucky enough to get, to join an environment like the one that you've set up, Bobby, for your team, can you blame them? I mean, literally, I remember my first sales job, not even in real estate. My training was horrible.
One day I was thrown on the phone.
One day,
One
and we're
day.
chucked on the phone, and we're expected to try to figure this out, and we're wondering why
They're not successful.
they're not successful, and we're wondering why we're giving a bad experience. I think there should be a certification for freaking team leaders and brokers to actually know how to train people. That's what I think.
It's very true.
So because the training out there is horrendous
Or non-existent.
or non-existent.
Right. It's
Horrible.
either horrible, they don't know what they're doing, and then a lot of times there's not even training.
Yeah, and if there is training, it's so outdated, old school, like people don't even know what they're talking about. I mean, you see this every day, Bobby, right?
I see it every day, and another thing I
You're
see
viewing this?
is realtors don't really look at this as a business, right? I mean, they don't want to invest money in their education. They don't want to invest money in marketing. They don't want to invest money in advertising. And, Scott can attest to this. Look at the realtors that you onboard from the time they join, from the time they're, fully onboarded and trained. They're spending more money, but when you look at their production, it's just huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's definitely opportunity for sure.
25% of companies have absolutely no idea if their social media advertising is working.
I'm actually surprised it's not higher than.
I know,
Right? Like,
well, I think in some industries it is. These stats are across
across all
mean?
industries.
Yeah. So, more than 50% of companies do not have documented social media strategy.
I agree. Yeah.
It's wild.
I believe that.
90% of sales and marketing professionals say they are misaligned across process, content, and culture based on what's actually happening in the market. I mean, they don't feel like they're equipped to even have the content and the tools and the strategies to talk to what's happening in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Only 12% of marketers are very satisfied with their lead conversion rates. So if you're in real estate or you're in mortgage, can you relate to any of this, right? Or do you feel like how I felt when we first got involved in the industry 10 years ago, right? Because we were thinking about this stuff 10 years ago. It's just accelerated now because it's COVID. So it's changing at a rapid pace. It hit a tipping point. And the big question is like, what are you going to do about it, right? And you got a couple options. You can go sign up to 7 to 10 different vendors.
Yep.
And
or more.
Some cases, 15 to 20.
Yep.
To make it all work, right? And you can hope that you can figure it out on your own, or you can tap into a system that's already proven. And one of the things I talked about at our last challenge was the struggle that we went through, even when we were launching the team. Like to find a way to get omnipresent and to be able to communicate.
Yep.
I want to rip my hair out. I know you did too, Bobby, when we were getting it all set up, because
it was a pain.
Literally, like, none of these systems communicate with each other. None of it does anything. And so finally we said, screw it.
And build our own.
We're going to build our own.
Yep.
Literally, that's what happened one day. And I looked at Scott and I'm like, dude, screw it.
Right. Let's just do it.
And a couple $1 million later,
So don't go spend a couple $1 million.
Yeah, a couple $1 million later, we developed Run 360. And that's really what it's all about. It allows you to more easily make that transformation to be omnipresent, to be able to communicate, and however they're communicating. Here's the most important part. You go from chasing after business to attracting it by making sure that you have the right marketing campaigns out there. So for example, you got all these leads sitting in your database. What do you do with them? What should agents do with them? They're just sitting there.
Not just call them.
Not just call them, right? Not just call them. What you do with them is you do what we've done, what other agents are doing is you set up multiple ways to communicate with them. So for example, automated drip campaigns, text and email. Here's the thing. If you're working with a provider that doesn't do video with your automated drip campaigns, fire them tomorrow, please.
Immediately.
Because people don't care about just a regular content anymore. I see this content going out in emails, like that are books, like they're writing novels.
People don't like to read anymore.
No,
No,
they
right.
want to see your face, right? I think another thing that's really powerful is remarketing. Right? Is leveraging video to do remarketing.
The emotional relationship.
Yeah.
Right. You don't build that through static images or written content. You do that through video marketing.
And the oldest saying in the world is fortune is in the follow-up. Well, you got two choices. You can do that manually, and good luck scaling that, or depending on your team only to follow up. Or you can produce some educational videos that take you maybe an hour to do that you can launch, and those videos now can become something that is evergreen, where it's just out there, and that video you could follow up with thousands of people through Facebook remarketing, right?
Well, I think you said it right there. The time, guys, that you spend making those dials and doing everything manual could be spent doing revenue generating activities because you have the systems in place to do it for you.
That's right. And that's really why we're passionate about our mission here at Run 360, which is to help you draw business from your database, generate new leads, and use video and omni-channel marketing to really build a powerful local brand. And there's not much that our system can't do where you can't go in there and make it happen, whether it's automating your social media, whether it's email, text, I mean, you name it. And here's the thing, Bobby, remember how we used to talk about like, oh, we got to get better on social media. And then we would go to post and we're like, what are we going to post?
Yeah, now we post every day. We post a few times a day, actually. And, realtors, people who are watching this, please just stop offering your clients free CMAs because they don't care, right? Like, you see that everywhere. Well, call me, I'll give you a free CMA. No, nobody cares. You got to put out content. You got to put educational stuff out there. You have to have your drip campaigns to your whole database. So they're calling you and asking you. I mean, I'd say that's a majority of our business that we have is they've opted in to our systems from some way, shape or form. They're texting our system. They're texting.
All right, Bobby froze up on us. I don't know if that's him or us, but yeah, I think I want to be clear about the message here too. We're not saying that you don't ever have to follow up by text or follow up by email or follow up by phone. Like that's not what we're saying. What we are saying, Bobby, you froze up on us, so we kind of.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. But what we are saying is, what you can do is the people that are engaging and responding, you can have what we call a smart list, where you can prospect smart, where these people are interacting, and now you're targeting people that are interacting with your content instead of blind calling or blind prospecting. You can get much smarter. So for example, you can make 30 to 40 calls in a day, knowing that your chances of talking to somebody that's in an actual cycle of wanting to buy and sell is going to be a lot higher than if you're just going to blindly call through your database. And let's face it, most people aren't going to call anyway, but let's pretend you were.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so now you should be more motivated because you have, in a couple hours, you can get done what used to take us 4 hours in a day to do.
Absolutely.
If you do it the right way.
I would say this,
You can
and
build better relationships too.
100%. And you already, it's a warmer lead in. And if you have a team or ISAs making dials for you, right? And if you don't have an ISA, guys, you are the ISA, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing that, they're going to feel a lot better about making those calls, much more confident in making those calls if you have the right systems in place. And I know that Isaiah just looked at my email, and I'm calling him behind that now.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better making that dial now.
Yeah.
Right. So your team is going to buy into this and be, you'll see their results will go up tremendously because of their confidence level.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point. So I think that to kind of summarize this podcast, the message is here is you have to be omnipresent. You got to make the transition from the old school way of doing things, cold calling, door knocking, open houses. Yeah, do they work? Of course. How scalable is it? How repeatable is it? How long and how much of your life do you want to spend doing it? Those are the questions, right, that you got to ask yourself. And we believe and we're convicted that the new opportunity, the answer is if you just plug in to a system like Ren 360 and you follow what we call the sales acceleration blueprint that walks you through exactly what you got to do to develop a kick butt sales and marketing plan, you can solve most of the problems that we went through.
100%.
Most of those problems you can solve. Now, Bobby, does this happen overnight? Is this like something that you can click a button and like, yeah, you're omnipresent and everyone knows you at day one?
No, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say we're the best, right? We're still working on it. We're still creating new content. We're still posting out there. We're still testing new things. So it does not happen overnight, but just looking back 6 months ago to today, it's like a child, right? You don't see him grow, but when you're, father-in-law, somebody comes over there like, oh my God, how much have you grown? I've seen you. And that's the bigger picture. Now people are calling us. Now people are asking us for CMAs and whatnot. So
yeah, and when we do prospect, we're prospecting leads that are either have been generated by like an opt-in form and our automations follow up with it, right? So our prospecting is very different too.
Yeah, I don't necessarily call that prospect, man. I just call it follow-up. I mean, all the phone calls we're making is follow-up from some sort of opt-ins.
Right. Yeah. It's good. Good way to
Well,
look at it.
and thinking, let's say 8 years ahead of time, because I like to think into the future too.
Yep.
If you're still just making dials now, what are you going to do? Do you think that's going to be the way to do things in 5 years, 3 years, 8 years? Most definitely not, right? It's going to get the phone and calling people is going to be a lower and lower conversion rate. So get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Right. Make sure you have the systems in place. And I would say this, if you go to our website, realestatenexus.io, check us out. Right. And I'm sure Isaiah is going to tell you about our trial that we have as well. But we're here to help.
Yeah. We want to help you make this transformation. It doesn't have to be a bumpy road. And we want to put our best foot forward. And so if you're listening to this podcast or you're watching this, you can actually go to www.renfreetrial.com. That's www.renfreetrial.com. And we'll actually give you access to the software so you can see all the cool stuff that it can do, along with proven pre-built social media content and campaigns. They're all done for you already. You just got to click a button and launch them. Get your database uploaded and launch them. And then from there, as you're kind of figuring things out, we offer professional services along the way to be able to customize things and do more with you and for you as you're getting used to the software. So anyway, outside of that, the message here, make the transformation. Don't wait any longer. Before you know it, your clients are going to want to start I would say communicating with you through the metaverse. That's another podcast. Don't let me talk about that.
All right.
So,
That's a multiple podcast.
Yeah. So that's coming though.
Yes.
Next 3 to 5 years, the metaverse is coming and people are not going to even want to go over their house initially at all. So don't think that's not coming. You think I'm crazy? It will happen. When we first started doing virtual, remember you and I
Oh
first
my
started doing
God.
virtual
Yeah.
sales meetings.
Yes.
People thought we're like, how are you? Like, really? You're doing virtual sales meetings? Like, yeah, we are. And they're like, really? Like, how are you doing all this not face to face? Right?
Mhm.
It's going to be the same transition with the metaverse, and it's coming. So,
And be prepared, get ahead of it, right?
anyway, that's another podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed today's session. Final words, Bobby.
No, if you're looking for property on the metaverse, call RHA.
Love it.
How would you
Love
do
it. Yeah, I would just say, hey, take action, right? And start moving things immediately, right? So
Yeah.
if you're listening to this, that means that you want to get better. So take immediate action, start doing different things.
Yeah, awesome. This is another episode of Sales and Marketing Secrets. If you enjoyed today's episode, you thought it was valuable, then we'd ask that you make a comment, let us know what you thought about it. Also share it with your colleagues. We greatly appreciate it. Till next week, have a great day, everybody.
That's it.
See ya.